Welcome back to another tutorial video with Emma Moloto, your mathematics tutor at TVET. Please note that the material used in this video can be found in the RISE TVET handbook by Academic Solutions. Well, today's topic we will continue on sets. We will be doing the few examples so that you can be able to understand what we did in the previous video, where we did the laws and the definitions of sets. So in this video we will be practicing and all the laws practically. Simplification of sets. Number 1, we have the square root of 3 multiplied by the square root of 3, which is equals to the square root of 3 times 3, which is equals to the square root of 9, the square root of 9, which gives us 3. So this is the one of the laws that we did in the previous video. Number 2, we have 9 plus the square root of 18 divided by 16. Please make sure that you do check the notes that I've written on the side so that you can understand what's happening on each and every steps, so you don't get confused. So the next step, it says write 18 as 9 multiplied by 2. So that's why we have 9 multiplied by 2. If you punch this on a calculator or if you multiply this by head, it will take you back to 18. The next step, it says the square root of ab is equals to the square root of a multiplied by the square root of b. So in this case they splitted what's inside the square root here. That's why we have the square root of 9 multiplied by the square root of 2. This is one of the laws and definitions that we did in the previous video. The next step, it says the square root of 9 is equals to 3. So that's why we have 3 in this step. The square root of 9 is equals to 3. So don't get confused there. And then the next step, it says factorize by taking out 3 as a common factor. Ne? Remember, we in the denominator we have 6, so we've changed 6 into 3 times 2. If you punch this in a calculator, it will take you back to 6. So this step, it says factorize by taking out the common factor. The common factor in this case, we have 3 as our common factor. Sorry about the next step because I repeated I repeated this, sorry. And 3 will cancel 3. We're simplifying. 3 will cancel 3, so we will be left with 3 plus the square root of 2, which is this one, and 2. This 3 was cancelled by this 3, so that's why we ended up having this answer. Operations and operations involving sets. Number 1, a plus a is equals to 2a. Since a and a are like terms, add them together. Ne? You have a cow and a cow. You add them together, which is 2 cow, which is 2a. Ne? Number 2, we have the square root of 2 plus the square root of 2, which is equals to 2 the square root of 2. 3, we have the square root of 2 plus the square root of 3 is equals to the square root of 2 plus the square root of 3. Remember what I said. Please verify to the notes that I've written on the side so that they can guide you on what's happening. So in this case, number 3, it says it cannot be simplified if the answer is left in simplest set form. Ne? Number 4, we have 4 the square root of 5 plus 2 the square root of 5, which is equals to 6 the square root of 5. I hope you understand that. Number 5, we have 2 minus the square root of 3 all to the exponent 2. So the next step, they splitted this number because of this 2. So that's why we have 2 minus the square root of 3 and 2 minus the square root of 3. The next step, it says they factorized this. So multiply the brackets, they factorized this. So that's why we have this answer over here. The next step, it says simplified. So we did simplify, adding like terms together, and then we ended up having this answer. Rationalize the denominator. Note, number 1 is square root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 2, they give us 2. Number 2 is square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2, they give us 1. Example and solutions. Number 1, we have 1 divided by the square root of 2. The next step, it says since the denominator is the square root of 2, if we wish to rationalize the denominator, we need to multiply the fraction by the square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2. Ne? So we are rationalizing the denominator, so that's why we multiply by the square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2. Ne? So in this case, 1 multiplied by 2, which is 1 multiplied by the square root of 2, which is the square root of 2. The square root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 2, which is 2. It goes back to this note. Ne? So make sure that you do check the notes and then these notes and understand them. Complex equations involving sets. Solve for x. We have an example there that says the square root of 2x plus 6 ne? Plus 1 is equals to x. Solutions. First, isolate the set. So we took 1 to the other side, that's why we have negative x minus 1 here. So we isolated, ne? And then step 2, square both sides of the equation. We square both sides of the equation so that we can get rid of the square root, ne? So that's why we ended up having 2x plus 6 equals to this. You split this number because of the square that's there, and then factorize, then you'll end up having, remove the brackets or multiply the brackets, then you'll end up having this, ne? So the next step, it says write the equation in standard form, ne? We took this to this side and 6 to this side, so the like terms cancelled or added each other, ne? The next step, it says we factorize. It says factorize, so we did factorize here, ne? We factorize this equation, and then we solved for our x, which is x equals to negative 5 or x is equals to negative 1. Thank you for watching. I hope this video, it will be helpful, you'll find it helpful, and you did enjoy. See you in the next video.